Welcome back, Pokemon fans. Angel of the Night here. We are back again with a grand challenge, and this time we are up against Ash Ketchum. Now, I'm sure it's not the legendary Ash Ketchum, but definitely seems to be some sort of a poser here. We're going to see them lead off here with a Whimsicott and a Blaziken. I'm going to lead off here with a Zebstrika and a Mousehold. Now, the first thing that we're going to probably end up seeing with the whole Whimsicott scenario is probably a Tailwind. And then with the Blaziken, we are going to have to be mindful of Speed Boost. So with the Zebstrika, we're going to go in for the high horsepower into the Blaziken. And then, of course, we also want to try to maybe get some damage off onto the Whimsicott once we get an opportunity. So we are going to see a Protecting from Blaziken first turn. That way they can get the Speed Boost in the aftermath. Here's the Tailwind from the Whimsicott. That's going to boost up the speed of the entire team of the opposing Pokemon. We're going to get the high horsepower off here, but unfortunately the Blaziken does go for the Protect, doesn't receive any kind of damage, and of course there's the Population Bomb as well. So, first turn, not looking so good. There is a ton of speed on the opposing side, and we haven't yet managed to get any kind of a hit onto the opposing team. So, the only thing I can think of is maybe swap out to Tauros, get an Intimidate off, and then of course with the Zebstrika, maybe go and get a high horsepower. Maybe that might be able to do some damage off onto the Blaziken if we manage to actually get a hit. There seems to be a little bit of a delay in the battle, of course, due to probably a network connection. Probably my opponent, of course, or they're choosing their moves. So in comes the Tauros, and of course that's going to activate the Intimidate off onto the Pokemon. Going to drop the attack stat of the Blaziken, of course. There's the Sunny Day from the Whimsicott, so we know that right now they're probably going to end up going for like a Fire-type move. So here comes the Flare Blitz, all sorts of boosts all over the place. Intimidate did absolutely nothing for me here. Unfortunately, we do lose our Zebstrika, and it looks like they also have a Life Orb. So not only do they have 2 speed boosts, plus a Tailwind, plus the Sun, even under an Intimidate, they're still able to just one-shot Pokemon left, right, and center. So we are going to have to do a little bit of redirection here with the Amoonguss, hopefully into like a Rage Powder of some sorts. We are going to go for the Rock Slide, be able to maybe hit 2 Pokemon at once. And you can see I'm kind of backing out here because I'm not really sure if that's the right choice or if it's not. We actually end up going in, taking off the Rock Slide, going in for the Close Combat, and then we're also setting up the Rage Powder here as well. Either way, Rock Slide could have missed the Blaziken, so at least with the Close Combat, we're going to be able to guarantee some actual damage off onto the Blaziken. Now, we are going to go in for a Tera change here, of course. It's going to be into the Amoonguss, so that way we don't get hit by the Flare Blitz. So we are going into that whole Tera Water. Okay, here we go. We've got the Rage Powder, so all moves of the opposing Pokemon are going to be redirected into the Amoonguss instead. Looks like the Blaziken's going to go in for the Baton Pass, and that's actually pretty smart because it basically passes on all stat changes to the Pokemon that's coming in onto the field. Definitely an old tactic from a more civilized age. Okay, Meowscarada coming into play, and we know right off the bat that that's going to be bad news for the Amoonguss later on. However, we do manage to get a Close Combat, picking up the KO on the Meowscarada. Tauros did get hit by a Moonblast there because obviously with Rage Powder you cannot redirect any Grass-type Pokemon to attack the Rage Powder user. So that's kind of unfortunate. We did manage to get a hit, but at least if Blaziken comes back in, we can redirect all moves into the Amoonguss itself. So in comes the Blaziken here, of course, back onto the field. Likely to do a Protective again first turn in order to get those boosts, but you never know exactly what's going to happen in a Pokemon battle. So we actually have Tauros here. We are deciding if we're going to go for the Raging Bull and take out the Whimsicott, or if we are going to do a different play. But we do end up going in and taking on the Whimsicott head on here. We're going to go for the Rage Powder. That way we can redirect the Blaziken into the Amoonguss. Here's the Moonblast from the Whimsicott into the Tauros, barely surviving at 17 HP. And we also take a Close Combat from a Blaziken, which actually works out in our favor. So here we go, we're activating our Citrus Berry. That's going to regain our health back to the Amoonguss. And now we should be able to attack with the Tauros with the Raging Bull. Due to the sun, of course, we actually managed to pick up the KO on the Whimsicott. That is fantastic. And we finally got another KO in our team on the opposing side. Blaziken ends up getting another speed boost there. Of course, that happens after every turn. Blaziken's just going to get boosted. And of course, the next Pokemon that comes in is going to be Kingambit. Now, Kingambit onto the field, that is a huge threat. It's always a threat. And if you don't think it's a threat, you are completely blind. Kingambit basically runs everything as soon as it hits the field. So we have to debate on what we're going to do. We could either go for the close combat into the Blaziken, or we could go for the Raging Bull into the Kingambit. Pretty much at this point, I know I have to get Blaziken out here too, because of any other Pokemon in the back end. Kingambit goes in for the Protect. I'm really glad that we didn't actually go for the attack onto him, because we really need to get the Blaziken out. Here's the Rage Powder, going to redirect all moves of the opposing Pokemon into the Amoonguss now that we don't have any Grass-type Pokemon on the opposing side. Close Combat, able to pick up the KO on the Blaziken. That's beautiful. Managed to get that KO there. Thankfully, Blaziken is now down and out. We just have to worry about the Kingambit. And Kingambit is going to be one of those Pokemon that's going to be so difficult to take on here. We basically are going to go for the Raging Bull into the Kingambit. We don't want to, continuously lower our stats any further. But then again, you could go for the close combat. We could have picked up the flying ability, Tera on the Kingambit if there was. But anyways, we get the Raging Bull. You guys know what I'm saying. Raging Bull actually takes it right down to the red zone. Sunlight has basically diminished. So we're going to choose the Raging Bull again, and then we're going to go for the redirect, and that is going to be the battle. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Take care, have a good one, and peace out.